Media is around us everywhere. It's on our phones, it is on our TVs, and it's in our music. One thing which I can say for sure is that the consumption of media across every populace is at an all-time high. But have we ever taken a second to step back and ask what the consequences are for everything we consume? Just how when you eat too many pizzas, you'll put on weight. Just how when you sign up for that high-paying job, there's that implicit cost of extra work hours and extra responsibility. There too is an explicit and implicit cost for every single media source that you consume. Now, at the heart of it, you may be thinking to yourself that you already knew this, but the implications are deeper and more far-reaching than you can imagine once you really decompose the mechanics as to how media truly communicates. There's a reason why when you watch TV, they call the media on such platforms programs. Because guess what? When you watch TV, you literally are being programmed. Now, you may be thinking this is a theory, but I can unequivocally assure you that this is fact. And this is based on the premise that the minute you turn on that TV, there's a reason why you feel relaxed and detached. It's because it's activated theta waves in your brain. Once the theta waves are activated, your subconscious is permeable, which is why whatever you watch at night, you often dream about, because your subconscious mind is permeable, and whatever messages have been inserted, your subconscious mind accepts due to the fact that theta waves have been elicited. Now, you may be thinking this doesn't mean much when you're watching your Netflix show or, your favorite comedy. But there is some grave consequences when you start to realize that the same brain patterns are activated during ordinary television media such as news. And to a degree, this explains why over the last 3 years, once we witnessed the Clown Fest, which occurred, why everyone took every single lie which has been proven to be a lie, from a peer-reviewed journal perspective and from a common sense perspective, quite frankly. The reason people believed this and did not question it was because they quite literally were hypnotized. This is why the lockdowns didn't make sense. It's why the underlying treatments didn't make sense. The economics didn't make sense. But if you asked people, they would tell you, did you not hear what the news said? And they said it with such vigor because they believed it. And the reason they believed it was because the news message was inserted when their subconscious mind was permeable. And that's why we experienced that circus show over the last 3 years. You may think that this only extends itself to television, but you'd be incorrect to assume so. Because guess what? The same premise embeds itself in the music you listen to. Now, you may be asking what I mean by this. Well, the interesting thing about your subconscious is that it often registers what your conscious mind does not necessarily hear. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, to put things in perspective, if you actually have a close look at some of the most famous songs in history, whether that be by the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, and the list goes on, there are several instances of backmasking occurring in such audio. Now, what is backmasking? Backmasking is essentially the deliberate encoding of subliminal messages in which a message is recorded backwards onto a track that is meant to be played forward. Now, you may be wondering how backward messages may impact the subconscious if your conscious mind is not interpreting it through its intended subliminal meaning. However, there's been intensive studies by the CIA and David Oates, which strongly suggest that our subconscious is so intelligent that it can decipher these backwards subliminal messages, which is why it's no coincidence that there's over hundreds and hundreds of songs which have these backmasking messages embedded into them. And note that a large portion of these messages are not exactly positive. And that is why it's so important to be aware of them and to pick the mainstream media which you consume so carefully. Because whether your conscious mind registers it or not, it could well be an attack on your subconscious. And therefore, it's so important to pick. And this is further proven by the fact that there are such frequencies called infrafrequencies, which basically your subconscious mind registers whether your ear hears it or not. And these are often prevalent in horror movies, which is why you often feel scared, or there's an eerie vibe, if you will, because your subconscious picks up on these frequencies whether your ear hears them or not. And this is why it's just so important to be conscious of the cost of where you place your attention. Never forget this. Everything has a cost. And most importantly, where you place your attention is where you place your energy. And there are several forces in this world who know that, which is why your energy, your power, your awareness, it's your biggest asset. Spend it carefully, harness it, grow it, and make the right choice for your heart, soul, body, and mind.